Hey guys, I didn't think we'd get a break like this, so I had to make an emergency video. Right off the bat, this here is not a satellite video. It says NROL 22, but that's just a red herring. Turns out NROL 22 is, in fact, the relay satellite, SDS satellite, as they call them, that is transmitting data not from another satellite, but from a Reaper drone that is using something called whammy footage, Gorgon Stare specifically. It's called whammy because of its wide field of view and its low frame rate that's technically lower than what can be considered video. In the case that we're looking at here, it's 6 frames per second. The baseline Gorgon Stare is 2 frames per second, indicating this is potentially the upgraded version, the Increment 2 Gorgon Stare that included an IR upgrade as well. So I researched all of the whammy capabilities and I isolated it down to 3: Angel Fire, Argus, and Gorgon Stare. And as I kept digging through them, trying to make sense of what would make the most sense if this was being filmed from a top-down perspective, I had a major breakthrough. Gorgon Stare integrated with Argus to produce a much higher field of view. When I saw this image, I just had a complete epiphany. I had been completely wrong about trying to assume that it must be coming from a satellite. It could just easily be coming from a drone that's flying on top above the airplane, because the airplane's flying at a very low altitude due to the cumulus clouds. We had the right sensor. We didn't have the right platform housing it. And here's the other huge epiphany related to this. Is what this means is that how does this change the story related to Edward Lynn? The only people that use Gorgon Stare is the US Air Force, not the Navy. So this would imply that Edward Lynn was caught with flight manifests that include search and rescue because he was doing ISR. He saw the videos when he was doing search and rescue for Malaysian Airlines. And then he leaked them, or somehow they got onto the internet. So this changes the story entirely. And it also means now that Regicide Anon definitely didn't know what they were looking at, and they weren't told what they were looking at. Because it doesn't say Gorgon Stare, super secret US surveillance. It just says satellite video. So Regicide Anon probably just saw NROL 22 and they just did their best. And it took us almost 2 years, at least me, almost 2 years to figure out. So I apologize to anybody else who out there who's yelling that it's Gorgon Stare. Now, that's not all. I started digging into it after I found out that this is this Argus system, and that they had this upgrade that happened on the MQ-9 Reapers, which indicates that possibly both drones are MQ-9s. Here's the additional upgrade for infrared Argus IR that happened, and this is from 2010. So then I also found this guy, Eyes in the Sky. He wrote a whole book about it. Listen to this part. Oh, actually, here, but basically says people started using this technology for nefarious purposes. That essentially instead, or let's say not nefarious, but unintended purposes. So it was meant just for the military, but they found that they were using it to do counter espionage missions for drug operations. So now it opens the door that people might have been misusing this technology in black projects or black operations. And then I took it a step further and decided, okay, wow, this is the Air Force. And I had another epiphany. I've been pointing the finger at the wrong people. I've been thinking Salvatore Pais and his Navy patents were the things that they're trying to hide, or that they're, he's the one with the secret orb technology. No, he was trying to push it out. The Navy was pushing for those patents to be out publicly. They weren't trying to gatekeep it. It's the Air Force that has the technology. They're the ones that gatekept it. And I remembered from the third interview with Salvatore Pais, he said that somebody shut him down from getting a team together for his high energy electromagnetic field generator. So beyond, almost certainly there's some connection here between the people that were shutting that down, gatekeeping that, and the people that are gatekeeping all this UFO stuff, this advanced technology. So I decided I want to look back at those Air Force Research Lab papers, specifically the ones by Eric W. Davis. And I started digging through them, and sure enough, we have our ball lightning study. He's promoting this, by the way. Teleportation physics study, advanced propulsion study as well, right here. And then there's a couple interesting ones about the light propelled laser craft or laser propelled light craft. But the one that really caught my eye was this one about breakthrough capabilities and features. So I started trying to dig this up. And I noticed that when I looked this one up in the same year, that has to be the same paper. It's not written by Eric Davis. It's written by Paul Size. What? Were they working together? And this is when it all started to come into focus. The Black project engineers that we've been finding, they've all been working together behind the scenes. All the main ones, they're the ones that have been working on this technology. It wasn't Salvatore Pais in the Navy. They're the ones who just happened to figure it out as well later and got gatekept from producing it. It was all the people we suspected. Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, Paul Size, maybe Robert M.L. Baker on the gravity wave side. All of these people have been connected. And then what does this paper say when you read the abstract? I haven't even been able to find the full version of this yet. It says these advancements include augmentation of magnetohydrodynamics and fusion power with power from 0-point energies and the quantum vacuum, an augmentation of vehicle jet propulsion with field propulsion meaning gravity propulsion, to increase vehicle delta 5 by a factor of more than 2, therefore extending Air Force protective operations beyond Earth orbit into cislunar space. Okay, that's not even that impressive. So I started digging around trying to find the full paper, and I find this. Propulsion and power generation capabilities of a dense plasma focused fusion system for future military aerospace vehicles, 2006. Look at who the authors are. David Froning, George Miley, Frank Mead. And I don't know these other two guys, but maybe they're significant. But when I saw Frank Mead's name, I recognized him from the project manager that signed off on all of Eric W. Davis's teleportation physics study, ball lightning study, etc. So I looked at the abstract. An aerospace plane that combines clean aneutronic fusion or dense plasma fusion and propulsion technology with a lifting body-like airframe using air-breathing MHD propulsion within a reusable single-stage-to-orbit vehicle, meaning a vehicle that doesn't require any engines on it. It can just go straight into the sky. Okay, now I'm really interested. And then I saw this. Q equals 3. That's saying an over unity value of 3. That means this plasma that they're producing is producing 3 times as much bonus excess energy out of it. So presumably you can produce a lot of stuff off of that. And then it also says that it can potentially produce or be used for communication systems, pulsed train plasmoid weapons, ultra high powered lasers. This got me thinking coherent matter wave beams and gravity devices. Q was varied from 3 to 6. So it wasn't just 3 to 6 times over unity, resulting in gigawatts of excess power. So this is basically saying right there, they've figured out how to make the plasma orbs. That's what they were referring to. And there's even more. I'm not going to go through all of it, but the last thing I want to look at here is this paper, because I wanted to know what is MHD, air breathing propulsion for aerospace applications. And basically, this paper explains how they're able to just have plasma and it be self-cooled by the air, ambient air all around it, and how they can potentially create a low temperature ionization of plasma, and how they can take air and just ionize it, use it as the fuel, use air as the fuel for the plasma. The biggest thing that I think really stuck out to me, and I can't even overstate how significant I thought this paper was when I got down to part of the issue here about the propulsion methods that it was using. And it says down here about non-equilibrium MHD and airflows. For cold non-equilibrium plasmas, the power budget is determined by the average energy cost. So basically what this is doing is figuring out how much energy you could produce in a plasma, and like how much energy the ball of plasma is producing and how you can distribute that energy. That's what this paper is all about. That wasn't even the thing I wanted to show. The thing I wanted to show is when I get down to the Ajax down here, this is the thing Paul Size was talking about, the Ajax jet that Russia was working on. So I know Paul Size wrote this paper. Endothermic fuel conversion. I certainly did not think I was going to see something about endothermic related propulsion in one of these DIRDs. This is one of the DIRDs that I was looking at showing out right there. So, wow. Now I'm ready to say, no question, no doubt, it's the Air Force that has the plasma orbs. They can manipulate gravity. They can use the plasma itself as propulsion. It is, without a doubt, a free energy source. It is the best form of fusion you could imagine. Gigawatts of excess power coming from one of those plasma orbs. That's what they've been hiding from us. That's the national security concern. You all now know. And all we have to do at this point is get somebody to confirm that that MH370 video is Gorgon Stare. If we can get that video confirmed as Gorgon Stare, it's all over. Nobody could have ever known that to fake that in 2014. It means the videos are real. Thanks, guys.